forget just how unique and complex each person is and each situation is. And we fall back on our habits and our boxes and our labels. And so we're not seeing the world for all of its beauty and intrigue. And what I want to talk about is a way out of this. Shouldn't every talk bring the lead out at some point in time? As consumers, we often consume things to the point where we no longer enjoy them anymore. Comes with music, with movies, with food. As we see our family day after day at the same time for our dinner table, and we just keep doing things, and we have dinner, and it's just another California roll, just like the last time I had a California roll. And we're not paying attention to the fact of how the crab meat tastes or the avocado. It's just another California roll. And so basically, some researchers thought about this. It's so easy to get bored. Can you reverse the boredom? You're going to hear it again. So you have a bunch of people come into the laboratory. And when they come there, there's going to be 20 of the most amazing songs in rock and roll. This will be one of them. We'll have that argument in Q&A about Led Zeppelin 4 versus Led Zeppelin 2. And they're going to be asked to rate their favorite song of the 20. And the average person gives it a 78 on a scale of 0 to 100. So clearly the scientists did a good job of picking songs that people like. And then they do what happens to you if you listen to your favorite radio station for the entire day. I used to be a DJ in college, and we have songs that are called heavy play, which means that we are mandated to play that song at least 3 times an hour, every single hour for the entire day. And if you listen to your radio station all day, you know what I'm talking about. So we mimic this in the laboratory. And now you're going to listen to Ramble On for 20 consecutive times in a row. And it's not surprising that by the time we're done, we have now obliterated your favorite song. So now you're rating it a 39 on a scale of to 100. So we're good at this. We are very good at creating problems in people. So here's what's interesting. We say, come back 3 weeks later. And 3 weeks later, they come into the lab and they say, I want you to list all of the songs and bands you have listened to since I last saw you. And the other people are asked to list all of the various television programs that they've seen since over the past 3 weeks. And here's what happens as you make this list. What you heard on the radio, what you heard at parties, what you heard in restaurants, what you heard on your iPod. And they listen to Ramble On again, and all of a sudden, they have a resurgence back to their initial pleasure in their song. It only happens when they're thinking about the variety of music that they've heard in the past 3 weeks. Not just variety, but in the same area. It's what we call variety amnesia. We forget just how much variety and novelty that we confront on a daily basis. What we focus on is what's familiar and not what's unfamiliar. This is how we've been taught. This is how we break down walls, we break down sexism and racism and classism, is discover what's familiar, what's the same between you and them. And we have research showing, bubbling beneath the surface, that focus on the uniqueness in your life. If you follow couples that have been together for 20, 30 years, and you follow them for 10 years, the #1 predictor of marital problems, it's not conflicts about money. It's not conflicts about kids, although that does happen when you have 4-year-olds and they're twins. Trust me, my wife is somewhere in here somewhere, but I can't see any of you because I'm being blinded by light. The #1 predictor of relationship problems is boredom. It's because we think we know everything about our partner. We have absorbed all they have to offer us. Their philosophies, their values, their views have become our own. What's different about them, we've already accepted. And so when we tell all of these stories about what happens to our day, to our friends and coworkers, and we drive home, we commute back home again, and our spouse asks us, how was your day? Nothing. Same old stuff. Because we already predict how they're going to respond. So we've already had the conversation in our head. I'm not going to tell them about that woman that flirted with me because she's going to get jealous, we're going to get into a fight, and we're going to repeat the cycle which we've had 1,000 times before. I'm not going to tell her about that new horror movie that came out if she wants to see it because I already know she doesn't want to see it. We think that we can write this perfect encyclopedia set about our romantic partners. And the fact is, we are only privy to what they've ever told us, what we've ever asked, and whatever came up randomly. And there are a massive number of gaps, and we know we're still evolving. We're reading different books. We're talking to different people. Our life's moving in different directions, but we forget that everyone else is evolving as well. Those couples that focus on this growth opportunity does not leave this relationship, those are the ones that maintain passion. There's this poetic idea that 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, when they're in romantic relationships, it's all fiery passion. They can't wait to rip each other's clothes off. And then when we get into our 30s and 40s, we turn into extra characters on Golden Pond, where all of a sudden, maybe we'll hold hands, maybe I'll touch their shoulder, definitely not going to rip off your clothes, you're getting scraggly now, and the idea that we're now committed and we're intimate, but passion, that's for the kids. Well, the only reason that stereotype is there is because no one's ever asked the questions about passion. What you find is 20% of couples that have been together for at least 3 decades, when you put out advertisements, we're looking for couples that have passion still in their relationship, and they're older. And you put them into a fMRI chamber, because nothing's real about passion until I see it in the brain. If you say you're passionate, I don't believe you. But if your brain lights up, all of a sudden now I think, yes, I believe you now. You actually like your partner. And their brains, the parts of their brains that are linked up with exploring and seeking and desiring that light up, it looks exactly the same as the 15-year-old that says, I have undying love for this girl who I had 3 dates with, and all we've had is ice cream, and we saw 1 movie. They look exactly the same underneath the brain scanner. But to maintain passion, we have to recognize how little we know. The curse of expertise, of trying to be an expert, trying to be knowledgeable, trying to look intelligent, all of this gets in the way of actually growing and having a fulfilling life.